Hopefully the background noise is not completely awful, but I'm now walking back from my theory lesson, driving theory class. As you can see, the weather's really excellent. It's a beautiful spring day. Um, you know, it's so vibrant, so incredibly vibrant over here. Anyway, I'm headed home. And I meant to record something earlier, but I completely forgot. Today, honestly, my day was super unfocused. It's the first day I've had in a while where I think I've had some breathing room. So in terms of like, last week was back to back to back, relentless, like, just the work, it was staying until 3, 4, sometimes 5 a.m. And that's really not a very particularly sustainable pace. Like, my sleep was lacking, things were all over the place. Today was the first day where I felt some breathing room, basically. But there's still a lot of things that I want to do, but whatever. I woke up this morning, I had some calls until about lunch, had lunch, walked my dog. What else happened? Honestly, I don't mind the fog. It was kind of nice for a change. I mean, maybe nice is a stretch. Whatever. Anyway, point being, after that, my least productive hours are after lunch, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to handle that. Part of me, sometimes, I've thought napping was a good idea, because, naps help me a lot. But that's particularly in the case where I haven't had enough sleep. And I think last night I slept enough, but I think I still have a little bit of sleep debt from just the past couple days. I slept at like 2:30, and I want to improve that a little bit and wake up a little bit earlier. But basically, it's a very big challenge to, I don't even know what I was saying. Waking up early. Yeah, I want to wake up earlier. I was thinking about napping after lunch. That's what I was talking about. This is so... Yeah, it looks really... Anyway. My least productive hours in the afternoon were terrible. I literally did nothing useful. And, by 4 p.m., maybe by 3:30 I started doing some stuff. Then 4 p.m. I had a call. 4, 5 p.m. calls. 6 I was here. It's now 7, and I got some stuff to do, but overall decent day. I need to work on marketing. As far as business development goes right now, I am doubling down on content. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that I missed out on earlier on. I should have been doubling down from the start. Now, a key piece of thinking though is here. I used to think, whenever I thought about doing content, I was like, I gotta add this to my schedule, figure out how I'm gonna make time to write a blog, write a newsletter, whatever. Recipe for disaster, because I can only do what I can make sustainably. And if I'm running the day-to-day of the business, like, these videos these to me don't cost me much. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. They don't cost me much because I like to reflect on things and talk about them, whatever. Now I'm just doing it publicly, and that's okay. But the kind of made for the internet ones, those are already, those require some active effort from my side. And I haven't recently, I've pushed back a couple days. It's a little bit late. I actually have to go film something after this. So one of the calls that I had today was speaking with a guy who I know who runs this agency that does content writing. I think his writing's pretty good. And I'm getting near a main road, so I'll probably wrap it up here and talk later. But I had a call with this agency owner. The idea is basically hire specialists to do their job, and you could hire a marketing team or something like that. But for me, that doesn't make sense. I need to double down on content. I might as well hire him. I pay a little bit extra. I'm gonna pay a margin on his talent, obviously, right? You don't get stuff for free, but it's worth it rather than trying to hire somebody who can write stuff in-house, I think. Now that I think about it, maybe I should do a couple interviews, see what my options are, see if I can find somebody who's cheaper and still good. But yeah, I got to double down on content and find somebody who can do it so I can make it sustainable and figure out how I'm going to fit this in the budget, probably next month. But yeah, anyway, that's the update for the time being. I'll see if I can go to the gym today as well. I just had a shower. I went to the gym. I ended up going to the gym. That was a really good call. It was honestly really nice. And it's like 11 right now. I'm going to go grab... Ooh, I left that. I'm going to go wash my Huel bottle. But I'm going to have some Huel. Maybe I'll eat something else. I don't know. Hop on my laptop. Got to merge some PRs. Review some stuff. And then I gotta spend some time thinking about content. Basically, I want to double down on content. I think it's the best thing I can do right now. And, to take a business, this is going off principles I've kind of read it, like just the principle of simplicity, basically. It's like, I got to focus on one acquisition channel first and just double down on that in terms of like, if it's paid ads, if it's organic, whatever it is. And basically, I think my best bet is organic. I think it's on the rise, all these things. And right now I'm thinking about making a newsletter because I'm thinking, okay, where are my client types spending their time? And, I'm running a development agency, working a lot with startups, a lot with early stage products. So who are those people? I want people in SF in New York in the startup scene to be reading that stuff. And preferably, I want them a little bit more on the technical side because I think the clients where we've worked with them the best is where they're slightly technical and they're just lacking a specific capability, something like that. So startup scene, leaning on tech, whatever. And, I think newsletters, Reddit forums, Hacker News, all these things, that's where those people are. And I got to spend time figuring that out. But part of my internal dialogue is going, oh, that's going to split your attention because running a newsletter in and of itself is a business. And I've religiously stuck to this like principle of focus, right? Focus, only do mint house things because, everything else is going to be a distraction. But the thing that I've realized is I can't take that too far. And maybe I'm starting to step over that boundary because, you could claim that YouTube alone is a business. And if it's not directly my focus, then I shouldn't do it or whatever. And I think that's flawed logic because like basically I was just having some reservations about a newsletter because I was like, oh, this is going to be a huge commitment. It's just like doing a podcast, which is like, these are not small projects that you launch in a summer and get it going. It's not some 3-month marketing campaign. This is like a long-term project. The thing that I'm realizing is I need to figure out, I need to double down on content, whatever that means, whether it's personal, whether it's for the company. One of the things which I want to create is obviously a company that can stand on its own. And a key consideration for that is, okay, I think it's no secret any good business today needs to be doubling down on marketing. That marketing is not marketing, content. Like good businesses today, any good business has to double down on marketing in general. Good businesses today double down on content, right? Because content is we're not talking about TV ads anymore. Like that's how the world moves. It's where society spends their time. And even more at the frontiers of the more tech savvy people, they're even more on the internet, reading blogs, reading newsletters, watching Instagram, whatever, watching TikTok. So my target audience is spending their time there. I have to be there. And, there's ways I could go about it. I could buy up ads on newsletters, but that's going to deplete my budget really quickly. And yeah, I want something that can stand on its own, I want a company that can stand on its own. Paid advertising, I think, takes time to get right from what I've heard from other people. And obviously it's expensive. But I think in general, any business right today, needs to be producing its own content. And if I want to build a business that can run on its own, I think a key part of that will be not like I cannot be the only face of that brand. So I want to be creating brand content, as in like for the company. And if I can grow a newsletter that's associated with the company, something like that, something I'm thinking the Hustle, Morning Brew, that kind of stuff, which is like these are independent brands which you can sell off. So Sam Parr is the guy who built the Hustle. He has a podcast with Sean Puri, and he has a personal brand. He has a following. A lot of people know his name. I know his name. All this stuff. But the Hustle is an independent brand of him, and so he managed to sell that. One of the biggest issues in creating a personal brand is obviously like you have no exit value. There's no enterprise value built because you cannot sell that off unless you work for whoever acquires you. So it's basically attached to your face, and you can't really ship that out. Even with AI, I think there's a personal touch which is very hard to get rid of. Anyway, so my thinking is I need to figure out a way to stack content around the company, build, basically what my audience wants. And I don't want to have to make the YouTube channel I don't want to basically have my personal brand revolve around only my ideal client type. Like I don't want to be constantly thinking about whether this or that is valuable to them. I want to be able to document freely the things that I find interesting, that I'm thinking about, the journey, whatever. It's very much like in large part a reflection log, and obviously it will serve to some extent as a platform for discovery. So maybe somebody comes across my channel and then they come across my company, and that might be a nice side effect, but I don't want it to be the primary function of YouTube. So I got to think about content, and my thinking so far is newsletter. Blogs are one of the slowest ways to gain traction. They're very hard and things like that. And if I make a newsletter, basically I'm just trying to figure out how do I make it sustainable to write a newsletter? How do I start it effectively? Literally, that's like the main question right now is how the hell do I start this? And then how do I growth hack it into like literally a subscriber base of even 1,000 people or 100, like even that will be enough to get me started. I just have to figure out the first 100 people. Where am I going to get those people? Do I other questions for this that I have right now are Mint House in itself is not a newsletter company. So that's not going to work. Then okay, do I make a new website, landing page, everything for a newsletter, and do I make it like a different brand? So am I whatever? Let's say I call it The Daily, or obviously I'm not going to call it that, but do I make a new website for The Daily and then I start publishing there, and it's The Daily by Mint House? Is that what it's going to be? I mean, maybe it is. Maybe that makes sense. Also, there's enterprise value there because I can sell it as an independent piece. Like outside of Mint House. I don't know. There's so many questions, but I have to think about them. And I think I'm just gonna use this recording as a forcing function to make me think out loud and stop procrastinating that, because that's been on my to-do list, is like plan out the content. I think step one, like I need to come up with a little bit of branding around the newsletter. Step two is kind of decide who's the newsletter for. Design the target avatar, kind of write out what they do, what they're thinking about, what their problems are, what their interests are. And really, I'm looking at my clients, like from the projects that I've completed, what are the common traits between the most profitable deals, the ones that I want to repeat, and what would they like to read and stuff like that. Yeah. What do they want to read? And after speaking with the guy from the agency today, he mentioned LinkedIn as a really important platform. So, okay, I'm going to have, let's say I figure out the content piece of exactly what I do or
Oh my god. My brain's a bit fried. It's been a long week. Uh, Hold on. Okay, so step one is come up with a little bit of a brand. Step two, figure out the avatar. Maybe I should switch those. Step one is the avatar. Step two is a little bit of brand. Okay, then that means I have to I have to piece together a newsletter, something like that. There's this thing I'm working through though, like these some exercises. I think I should do those before working on the newsletter and double down on, okay, work through these kinds of exercises that I have to do right now. This is some stuff that I'm working with this agency, and they've given me some stuff to work on. So I think I should go through that stuff first, and then think about the newsletter, the branding. Okay, what's the avatar? Then write my first couple articles. Probably test it with my client. Literally go to them and just be like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Like genuinely, would you subscribe or would you not? And if you would subscribe, like I think not. I shouldn't ask would you subscribe, because it's a very leading question. It should be something more neutral to avoid getting misleading answers, because you can't always trust what people say, right? Sometimes if you ask your friends to validate a product, you will make a huge mistake. I know this because I've done this. My first company, my first proper startup when I was 16, it was this ed tech thing. And we did exactly that. We asked the school, we asked all these people. Everybody said it was interesting. Everybody said it was cool. So we perceived that as market validation. And I cannot tell you enough, that does not qualify as market validation. You will make a mistake by investing in something that people say is interested, they're interested and it's cool. People will not pay for that. Unless people say that, oh yeah, I'd absolutely buy this, then you've got validation. No, the most actual validation is people putting money down, prepaying for the service because it solves that much of a problem. That's really what you ultimately want. Anyway, put it in front of my clients and my ideal customer types, see what they say. After this, I did this angel deal, and I want to get into this community of the founder leads this company. The startup that I invested in is this like community thing. I want to be part of that community, and then I can ask around those founders as well, because I have a lot of ideal client types there. I'm just going to be like, hey, do you like this newsletter or not? So first thing is write better content, figure out a format that works. And that's the problem, which is I need to my thinking is I want to offload that the content. Basically, the biggest thing that has made a difference about the YouTube, like anything I have to do consistently, I really have to work on removing friction to do it. So that's the reason why I record these on my phone. And sometimes the quality is not the best, or I'm not using any stabilizers. Sure, I'll invest in that equipment at some point, but the biggest thing I had to do, the biggest first step that I think was a really good call, was just make it easy for you to do, because it is hard to be consistent. That's the hardest thing. I want to be building something that's going to be written not for 3 months or 6 months, but for years. So my thinking immediately goes to, how can I make this something that I get off my plate? How can I not worry about it? Bill Gates has the saying, which is, you want to give a lazy person a hard job because they'll figure out an easier way to do it. I'm that lazy person, because I'm always looking for easier ways to do things. Like I by default, I will try and, like, I have very high standards, and I'm a perfectionist. This is very much a strength of mine. But like, I have worked my ass off for the past, week and a half. But if I can, I will try and, avoid extra workload. Like I want to make things more efficient, all this stuff. So I think the first little while I'm going to have to be writing content. And the past week, there's no chance I could have written anything. So I have to figure out one of two things. Either somebody who, like a qualified professional, so for example, that agency, maybe something like that, either hand it to them for them to write and basically like rely on them to improve the content, or do it myself. But I think it's going to be more scalable to have them do it, because if I commit to doing it, I'm going to have a lot of stuff on my plate. And if they already have expertise in growing other, they've run other blogs and things like that, I think it might be a good call to hand it over to them. Question is, I guess I should just, I think I should speak to more agencies and companies, to maybe people as well, like to hire people. Starting to realize one of the main drawbacks of recording on your phone is that, like, I'm using the back camera because it's better quality. That also means I have zero idea when my phone runs out of battery. I just recorded for the last 20 or so minutes, and half of it's gone. The last clip just cut off because I ran out of battery, and I had no clue. That's really annoying. That's happened like 3 times now. It's very much getting on my nerves. Anyway, the stuff that I talked about, TLDR, was I should hire people because they can write. I need to hire people also because I need to build something with a lot of consistency, and I don't think I should rely on my own consistency because I want to be building my own personal brand, whatever. I'm going to rely on my own consistency for that stuff. Like my personal brand, I don't want somebody else to build it. Now, for the company stuff, I want to be totally revolving around a particular avatar, things like that. And I think there are people who know how to do it better than me. I want to get that off my plate and have somebody who's good at what they do, and have me focus at what have me focus on what I'm good at. And I just have to do more, like record more stuff. That's one of the things that I got to do today, and I've been putting off for the longest time because I keep feeling perfectionist about it and I want to change it, whatever. But I do take some comfort in knowing that I can just do the same thing in 6 months' time. I can make another video that is kind of similar to the one that I've done now, but just way better production quality, planning, title, thumbnail, whatever. Yeah, so I don't have to make the perfect video on the first go, and I have to get over that, and just like, I know that I've been putting it off for a couple of days for all kinds of reasons. So I'm gonna go grab some food. It's 11:43. I wasted a bunch of time talking and recording what is now gone, but yeah, that's the plan for tonight. Hopefully sleep by 1. I want to do some wrap-ups, merge a PR, film some stuff, maybe some research about next ideas, and that's it. I just finished recording. It's like 1 a.m. I'm just gonna plan out my work for tomorrow, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. So before 1:30, which is like record time, very happy about that. I want to be waking up earlier. I miss doing that. But I thought I'd just film a little. Well, the whole point of these vlogs are being behind the scene, whatever. And I think I just look at the setup. Basically, this is what I just filmed my video on. Just a little stack of like my microphone box and my AirPods Max. It's this is. I'm still too lazy to buy a tripod and order it from Amazon, so I continue to just make whatever work with this little thing. This little phone stand is just carrying me so far. But anyway, that's a wrap on today.